I don't know. And he won't answer your question.
As the brother said.
So what I'm saying, why
He
you're
pointed to
debating
me,
with him?
chop off the hand.
So look.
You go.
They said, but of the Son, he said. So
No,
this is
my
not.
version doesn't say that, which is the King James.
Yeah, I got King James.
But to the Son, he said. Your throne, O God.
To the Son, yeah. So that's the Father speaking to the Son.
Sure. So here the Father is calling the Son God.
Yes.
Right.
Your throne, O God.
Does it mean he's divine?
Yes, I would say so.
It means he's divine. So when God called the judges gods, were they divine as well?
No, different context. Very different context.
Your criteria.
No, what you're trying to do.
Let's not jump. Your criteria is that he's called God, that's why he's God.
Is a capital G.
He's not the only one who's called God. Moses is called God, Elohim, you'll be Elohim to the Pharaoh. The judges of the Jews are called in Psalms 82 verse 6.
Yeah.
The devil is called the Lord of the world.
Different context, mate.
You can keep saying different contexts
Yeah,
everywhere.
it is.
So I'll tell you here different contexts. So what we're saying, God does not always, in the biblical language, does not always mean divine.
I would agree.
Okay, thank you very much. So I want you to show
in
me
this context it does.
where Jesus said he's God himself.
Here's the problem that I've got with this. Is when the Father is calling his Son God, okay?
As he called the judges, as he called the devil,
Yeah, but
as he
look at-
called Moses.
Yeah, but when we're talking about on a throne, and we look at the way he's describing his Son, and then calling him God in that context with all those attributes.
Do you know Psalms 82:6 what it says? You are gods and the sons of the Most High. The sons of the Most High. Is Jesus called the Son of the Most High? You remember a scripture where Jesus called the Son?
Yeah.
So the Jews are called gods and the sons of the Most High.
Doesn't prove that he's right.
According to the context, does not mean he's God. But my question to you again, repeating it, where did Jesus claim to be God? For his ministry, 30 years,
Jesus, yeah.
3 years.
Right. So Jesus has a number of different ways of doing it. So we have to take into account a number of factors.
Give me one.
Like, so one of the factors is he made a very clear prophecy about when he was going to die. Okay? So there was a very clear prophecy of when. So what he had
According
to do,
to you, that means that he's divine.
If you let me finish. So what I'm trying to say to that is you've got to take that into account. So with that means is Jesus therefore has to stay alive until that day comes. So the first thing he has to do is make sure he doesn't get killed before that event. So he has to be very careful about going around calling people God. I'm God. Because he knows if he just goes around people and saying to people, I am God, it's very unlikely he's going to survive until the day that he has been crucified to be crucified.
Is he God?
So that's the first issue.
Is he God?
What?
Is he God? According to you, Jesus is God.
Yes.
So you're telling me God is scared from the people. Let me finish. I'll let you finish. You let me finish.
No.
You see, now you're interrupting me. I'll let you finish.
You're
Right?
going off a tangent, mate.
Be honest and listen to the end, right? God is scared from the people around him that he's not going to live enough to fulfill his prophecy of dying, right? So he has to hide. He does not have to say clearly that he's God. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that this is true. His disciples he's not scared of. Why he didn't tell his disciples?
Can you finish?
I'm finished.
Fundamentally flaw.
You remember the question?
The fundamental flaw with what you just said is that God is this and God is that. You have to remember that God emptied himself and became flesh. It talks about in John 1 that God became the Word was God.
Can we deal with one context then go somewhere else?
Let me finish. No.
No, you're moving.
No, not at all.
On the topic.
Until I finish, then you realise it all makes sense.
Sounds like an I'm.
No, I'm not here for preaching. Right?
Please. No, stop preaching. I'm defining it my way, okay?
But
so accept my definition.
No, you asked me a
No,
question.
let me finish.
Sorry,
let me finish.
I'll tell you why.
No.
I'll tell you why.
No.
No, I'm not going to interrupt you. I'll let you speak.
No. I'm going to finish this sentence. Sure. You're going to wait until I finish the sentence.
Sure.
So the
and
sentence
you dictated
is
to me what to do.
So no. Because it's only fair. It's only fair.
I know. I'll let you
it's
finish.
Only fair. So let me finish. You can say whatever afterwards. So my point is this. Jesus, as God, entered himself. He became flesh. John 1 as well. John 1:14 supports this. So when Jesus became flesh, he limited himself and he became human. So he acted as a human when he was on earth. So as a human, that's why he was afraid of being killed and afraid of what he said as a human, not as God as you're claiming. As God, he can protect himself, but he had to be human. to succeed in being who he was as a human.
God abandoned him.
Didn't finish.
No.
We say
So
we
what
didn't
I'm
finish,
saying
right?
is,
We didn't
what I'm
finish.
saying is, God put his divinity aside and exercised
Please don't
his
go back. I'm
humanity.
listening to you.
He exercised his humanity. So in that situation, to stay alive was in the human sense, in his humanity.
Done? Thank you very much. Now, the reason I was interrupting you, right, is for the exact reason that you went somewhere else. I asked you a simple question, and you did not even bother answering my question. You didn't even completely hear my question. Do you know why? Because in your mind, you're waiting to give an answer, and you're so waiting for me to finish to just give the answer. You're not addressing the points I'm making.
There's a reason for that.
Let me finish, right? You see, now you're interrupting me.
Pause. I just thought I said it's during the pause. That's
Listen, brother.
Carry on.
I made 2 points, right?
Yeah.
The point that I made to you
That's it.
very easily, very simply,
Yeah.
that Jesus, according to you, is fully man, fully God.
Yes.
He's not just fully man. If he is truly fully God, he should not be scared of anyone. He has both natures, not just one nature. The second thing, which I asked you very simply, which you didn't answer as well, is why did he not tell his disciples? If he is, as you say, have to be very careful of telling the other Jews and things like that and the Roman Empire, why didn't he tell his disciples? You didn't even listen to the question. It's a simple question. According to you, why didn't he do that?
Okay. So that's two things.
Question, remember
Right,
the question.
I'll answer that question as well. So the first point you're saying is that when Jesus is fully God, fully man, what you're trying to define it is a way of saying that at any moment he's always fully God, fully man. That's not how he operates.
So he's not always fully God.
In terms of exercising a particular action, he will do certain actions in his humanity and he will do certain actions in his divinity.
When he's
So-
doing the human actions, is he fully God?
He's still fully God, but he's not exercising the qualities of it. So he's not using his divinity to overpower a situation.
But he's always fully God.
So in other words, I'll give you an example. In other words, when Jesus was being suffered, when he was being whipped, he didn't use his divinity to protect himself so that he wouldn't hurt, he wouldn't feel the pain, he wouldn't suffer.
Because according to us, he didn't have it.
He allowed
to
his
exercise it.
humanity so he could truly suffer and truly take the pain that he suffered, and he could truly die. If he was fully God in terms of exercising the divinity,
So he was not.
and so it's exercising it. It means bringing it out to its fruition into a situation. So he held it back. He didn't allow the divinity to come outwardly to prevent him
I get what you're
from
saying.
feeling
Okay.
the death.
That's okay.
That's my point.
But if God came to exercise a message,
Yeah.
should he exercise all the means in order to finish his message? Yes. So you claiming that God did not exercise it, he has to exercise it. Why? Because it's the whole reason he came. He has to do all the means, all the measures in order to survive, in order to die on the cross, as you say. So if truly he was God, as you're claiming,
Yes.
he will exercise all the means, even if he knows if he has all knowledge, he's truly God, fully God, as you say. He has no all knowledge. He knows where he goes. If someone is waiting to kill him or not, he knows if he says the statement, what is going to happen. If he says that statement, what is going to happen. But he still didn't answer my second question. Why did he not tell his disciples?
I was coming to that, but you then came up with your.
You finished.
Your
I
mention.
let you speak.
That's why I didn't mention the second one.
Answer the second question because I keep asking.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Appreciate it. So as I said, as I tried to explain very quickly, and I will answer your point about the disciples in a second.
please
I will do.
answer
Not
it
a problem.
first.
But-
Because every time I speak, you say you will,
Because
but you
I will do. So I will do the two together. So the first point I'm trying to make for you is God as Jesus limited himself when he became man. In the limited sense of using all these attributes and certain qualities, he dispensed with them in order to exercise himself in man, in his humanity. So in that
You
sense,
say he lived them? This is what he said?
in terms of certain attributes, yes.
He lived them.
In some way, I don't know exactly how he did that, but he didn't use them. He didn't utilize them. He says how he lowered himself in some way so that he wasn't using the full qualities that he had.
The full qualities.
Yeah, all
But
the
he was
qualities.
using using some.
Yes.
Why is your evidence that he was not using knowledge? That he was not using power
It just
to prevent people from killing
It
him.
just becomes obvious when you read the passages. It just becomes obvious. So when he is suffering as a man, you clearly.
This distinction that you made,
Yeah.
I spoke with Christians before,
Yeah,
right?
it's very clear.
No one else makes it. This distinction that you're making right now.
I don't really care. I'm
Sure,
just
no,
explaining how I know it.
That's
Anyway,
right.
let me finish and let me explain about
Please,
disciples.
but support by evidence.
Right.
Why did you make that separation between human and divinity, and using it sometimes and not using sometimes from the scripture? Where does the scripture say
So the flip-
that Jesus sometimes uses exercises and sometimes doesn't?
Here's the thing. Before we start skipping and jumping all over the place here.
No, it's about the point you made.
Yeah, I'm just saying because I still trying to finish the point that you asked me earlier, which you want me to answer about disciples.
Because you're not answering it. That's why we have to go
That's why
somewhere
I don't
else.
want you to start adding extra bits to make it a bit more difficult for me.
So
what,
please answer it first.
so right, let me do that quickly then. So with the disciples, just like with everybody, is his method to demonstrate him as God and who he represents was done by the demonstration of who he was. So he gave many examples to the disciples and to many others, to the Jews, about who he represented it. So that people...
But he didn't say he was God.
One second, let me finish. So the method he used to prove he was God was by qualifying the attributes of God, representing God in what we understand God to be. And let me explain
That you said he lit aside
let
in
me
the beginning.
explain. Let me explain why he did it that way. Because if somebody just comes along and says, "I am God," how does that prove anything? So rather than just saying I'm God, anyone can come along and say I'm God. Then you say, well, how can you prove you're God? Show me. So what Jesus was doing to show that he was God was by demonstrating.
You didn't make the claim in the beginning. I'm asking you about the claim.
One second.
Right?
This is the way that Jesus was demonstrating he was God to the disciples by his demonstration of these qualities.
Okay, I understand
And
what you're
by
saying.
what he said.
I understand what you're
He
saying.
was giving them all these clues.
I understand,
these
but
clues.
you're misunderstanding what I say. He did not make a claim to then afterwards demonstrate. Anyways, where is the claim first? I'm looking for the claim. Where did he claim to his disciples, I am God? Then he demonstrates with the acts that he's truly God. Where did he claim? He did not claim, right? If your excuse for him not claiming that he should have been very careful until he fulfilled his prediction, etc., 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 he will go to his disciples. He will say, "I'm truly God, and I'm going to die after this. Hold this, don't tell anyone until I die, because I'm scared of people not letting me fulfill my purpose."
Okay.
Right? So he will tell his disciples, the close people to him that are following him.
Huge problem with what you just said.
Okay, that's all right. I'll finish and you tell me the huge problem.
Yeah.
So if God came, did not make the message clear in the beginning, did not make it clear that he was God, did not make it clear that he was divine, you cannot blame anyone who did not accept that he was divine, because he never made the claim. So if a Muslim comes to you and says, "I don't believe that Jesus was truly divine or God," then you ask him, why you don't believe that Jesus was truly divine or God? Then he tells you, because Jesus never claimed that.
Right.
So because it was ambiguous, it was not clear, I did not believe in him. But if he had said, "I'm truly God," he would have followed him. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, totally.
So what I'm saying is,
Let me respond to that, please.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So, one of the issues you've got is you're defining how God should prove himself. So this is your version of how you would expect Jesus to prove himself as God. Okay? So that is your version. Does the scriptures through God display how he proves that Jesus is
Where?
God? So there he does, and this is how he does it.
Where?
So he talks about all the events. So when Jesus does all these things that he does, he talks about the miracles, the healing.
Sure.
He talks about all the qualities that the Father possesses.
All the prophets did that.
He makes the claim. No.
Moses made miracles, Jesus didn't make. He spoke about the nature of the Father.
Let me finish.
Sure.
Let me finish.
But be careful about what you're saying, because you said you would present evidence.
Let me finish. The way that Jesus is different is when you look at all the qualities and to the level. I'll give you an example. When Jesus forgives sins,
Okay.
he forgives the sins of all of mankind.
Sure.
No one else, no other prophet forgives the sin of all mankind.
Where did he say he's forgiven the sin of all mankind? One verse.
You said it.
You don't have. He doesn't have one verse.
What do you mean I don't?
You know
no,
what?
no, don't play those games.
No. I'll tell you why. I'll
Don't
tell
say
you why you
what
don't
I do
have.
when I don't have.
Do you know why
That's not fair.
Do you know why I
That's not fair
say?
discussion.
Do you know why I say you don't have? Because it's not there. Go ahead.
You
bring
believe.
it. Bring it. Where you said Jesus said that he's clearing all the sins of all humankind.
well, I'm not saying.
This is what you said.
Whoa, no. Let's be careful about this. I'm not going to go down the road of looking for explicit. He says this. He says this.
Oh, that's what you said.
No. That's not what I mean.
What do you mean?
What we mean by is there any evidence that shows
From Jesus.
that when Jesus died for mankind, that was for the payment of the sin of the whole of mankind? So there is evidence.
This is
in
not why I
Scripture.
ask you,
I know.
or what you said. You said that Jesus said that he cleared all the sins of mankind.
I'm not.
Unlike the other prophets. It's on camera.
Yeah.
It's on camera.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah.
So I want you to show me
Yeah,
where
yeah.
he said
Where he
that.
died.
No.
For all mankind.
Where he said, look, what you're doing, you're twisting my words in order to show me something that you already know is there. I'm asking
I'll
you.
show you. I'll show you.
I'm
some
asking you for.
scriptures.
This is as simple as that. Where did Jesus say?
I'll show you some scriptures on that.
Where did Jesus? Yeah. Okay. Let me ask the question.
But
Then show
my
me.
point is this. I'm not going to go down the road. Did Jesus say explicitly this?
I never said that. Did I say that?
No, I just want to make that clear though.
That's all right.
I'm not going down the road
Sure.
to try and prove to you that Jesus said a certain thing.
Sure.
What I want to do.
Okay, so you're
is
proving
give
my
you
point that it's
evidence-
ambiguous.
No. I'm going to give
Is
you
it ambiguous
evidence.
or clear?
Because the Bible doesn't work that way.
Your faith relies on it, man. Your
No.
salvation
Something
relies on
ambiguous.
it.
Something
Listen to me.
And you're
ambiguous.
saying it doesn't exist.
No.
Or you're
No,
saying,
putting
I
words
don't
into
know
my
where
mouth.
it exists.
You're putting words into my mouth.
Just- okay,
What
find
I'm
it, find
saying,
it, find
there
it.
is evidence enough that can show that Jesus forgave the sins of all mankind. So that's what I'm
No,
saying.
you said Jesus himself is the one who stated that. Show me where he did
There is
that.
a way that he does a phrase that. He has a certain way.
Where does Jesus
Whoa.
say?
Just, yeah. Give me a chance. Let me just look it up.
Sure. No, I'm just
Rather than
clarifying
you
the
just
question.
quick repeating. Yeah.
No problem.
Gets
You know
a-
what? Do
gets
you
a
know?
bit tedious.
Do you know why I'm repeating?
No.
Because you're never addressing my point. So I have to
I said
repeat
I'm looking
myself.
it up.
Go ahead.
So then you give me a chance to look it
I'm
up.
waiting for you.
Yeah, it's getting tough now.
Not at all. Because this is typical Muslim.
You said you're getting the evidence, right? I'm waiting for you. Because I have an appointment as well, so I have to go.
See, I always talk to this guy, and there's an Indian guy as well.
That's right. He's nicer than the other people.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He feels I'm trying to trap him, but I'm not trying to trap him.
And
I think what it is that it's a misrepresentation of the scripture as well.
That I do. But this is what I believe about you as well. This is what I believe.
That's fine. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that. I mean, quite happy to explain your verses, your scriptures, your Quran.
Sure. We finish that, then we do whatever you want to do.
that's why I pulled you over, because
Right. Okay, so we've got
he
three
makes his
scriptures.
claims and this claim, and I'm like standing there. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, to be honest, when you have a question, you have a question of a question of a question. Before we know, you're jumping all over the
So do
place.
you
Yeah,
think this
I'm
debate-
waiting.
you think
I
this
have
debate is
to
fair?
really go.
Yeah.
I have limited
This
time,
debate
right?
fair.
I have an
Alright.
appointment 7 o'clock. It's
I'm
already
just
6.
quickly saying that.
It's already
This debate is fair.
it's already
While
6:40,
he's
right?
mentioned on camera, I thought I deserved
debate
a
is
reply.
fair.
It's alright.
I'll go.
Yeah, fair enough. See you later. Truly I say to you, all sins will be given, the children of man, and whatever blasphemies they utter, whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit has never forgive, but is guilty of an eternal sin. That's Jesus' words.
Where did he say he is going to forgive them?
I say to you, all sins will be forgiven.
From someone else? This is
You're
third-
reading into it.
No. I'm not reading into anything. Where did he say, I will forgive your sins? This is your claim.
You're
That
looking
he's
for-
the one he's forgiven. Jesus.
As I said, you're not going to provide you explicitly the way you want it worded. That was my point at the beginning.
Jesus speaks of the Father all the time. All the time. He's here to represent the Father, according to you. So he's here speaking about the Father. Where is he speaking about himself?
When you read this, when you talk about how Jesus is going through the sentences, the flow of the sentences, you cannot make the conclusion you've made.
You just researched it, mate. You didn't read it.
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
When you
specifically,
read, this is where Jesus is talking to these people.
where does he
okay?
say he's forgiven?
They indeed.
He said it will be forgiven.
So I say to you, all sins will be given. The truth. Okay, so that's one. That to me is some good evidence.
It will be forgiven, but who's going to forgive them?
Well, Jesus is saying it, so why would it not be Jesus?
Jesus speaks about the Father all the time, and it's not about himself.
Not all the time.
Really, not all the time. Jesus does not speak of the Father.
He does speak of the Father.
He's here to represent the Father according to you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, what did Jesus say? In him, he will forgive the sins, as you claim. He will forgive the sins of all the people, which no other prophet did. That was your claim.
Yeah, but not
this
in
is
that
how
exact
he's
wording.
different.
I said there's a way that he phrases
You said this is how he's different from the
way
other
that he
prophets.
defines it.
You said this is how he's different from the other prophets.
Yeah.
Being honest, I'll make a few statements here, and I know that you're an honest person. You are going to agree with them. Statement number one: there is no explicit verse, explicit, right?
Yeah.
Of Jesus Christ claiming that he came to die for the sins of human beings. Number two: there is no explicit verse of Jesus claiming to be God. There is no explicit verse of the Trinity in the Bible. These are your core beliefs. These are what you base.
Alright, you can help me out a bit.
These, I'm speaking with you. I already told him I'm not going to have a conversation with him.
No, but you can tell me and I'll tell you.
Sure.
You want the answers?
doesn't matter.
Sure.
If he's so
If you're being honest,
I told
if
him
you want to
already.
be honest,
Sure.
so we're trying to.
Do you remember what I told you?
Yeah.
I told you you're an honest person.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to speak to you.
Yeah.
Did I make this claim?
That's fine. So where I'm at,
So-
I'm having trouble finding the verse.
Sure.
I know he might know it, so then I can relay that verse to you
Sure.
to prove the honesty that it does
Sure.
exist. Okay?
Sure. So
that's where I'm going with
first,
that.
allow me to finish what I was saying,
Okay.
which is a statement that you will agree with. And as I said, I'm not going to deal with him specifically. No offense. I'm not trying
I don't care.
to degrade you
Go
or
on, make your point.
or otherwise. I'm making my point to him, right?
Yeah.
There is no explicit verses of your creeds. Number one, Jesus claiming explicitly to be God. Number two, Jesus claiming explicitly that he died for the sins of mankind. Number three, verse that explicitly mentions the Trinity. So here, you're asking people, you're asking Muslims and non-Muslims and atheists and Hindus to believe in a religion where its core foundations are not explicitly stated. And when they don't believe in it, you say, how could you not believe in it? But if it's not even explicitly stated, you cannot blame anyone in not believing in it. As simple as that. So here, I'm going to make one thing and I will allow you to speak. If someone else starts speaking on behalf of you, I will leave. I'll tell you why. Number one, I don't want to give my time. I don't want to give my time to people who are not sincere or honest. On my judgment, not anyone else's judgment. I judge that they're not sincere or
But
honest.
my point is this.
So, can I finish first?
I thought you had.
So, if anyone else involved in this conversation, right, I'm not going to have a conversation with him.
What do you mean by involved?
Involved means that he starts answering the question on opposite of you. You will start using a brain of someone else other than your brain. I'm here to talk to you, not to someone else.
No, well then I'm beginning
So-
to question your sincerity then.
You can question
Yeah, because
anything
if
that you
you're
want to
looking for an
question. That's up
answer,
to you.
if you're looking
Who
for an
said-
answer,
I never claimed I'm looking for an answer.
yes you are. You just ask me those questions.
No, I asked you this question
posed me the
knowing the
questions.
answer already. You said I misinterpret the Bible. I told you show me where I misinterpret the Bible. I never said that these things I don't know where they are.
I didn't
I'm going
say
to find them.
you misinterpreted. I said you misrepresented.
Misrepresent, however way you want to put it, right? You believe that I'm misrepresenting the Bible.
absolutely.
The only thing that I'm saying is to ask you, show me where.
Yeah.
That's why I spoke with you, not anyone else.
Right.
So, I hope I clearly stated what I'm going to do here. I will let you speak.
So I want to look at the verse where it talks about that Jesus.
You remember my questions?
Yeah.
The 3 points.
Yeah. So
He is setting the rules here.
no.
And I don't think that's a sensible conversation.
You were not here from the
You
beginning, so you don't know what
fair point.
was
you
going.
really need to now take him to his task. And you really need to.
So what we want to do is that if you want to
have-
genuinely get answers to these questions, and I find a way to get an answer to those questions, are you happy to accept that as a means? to
From
get-
yourself? 100%.
Ultimately, when I speak to you, it'll be from me. Wherever I source it from is my business.
I'm asking you now. I'm not asking anyone else.
No.
If I bring,
I'm bringing
can
a
I-
point
can I
to you.
speak?
I'm bringing
If I bring my friend here,
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
and I say you're speaking to
I
me.
don't have an issue.
No, I say you're speaking to me.
Yeah.
And then every word I say is from him. Is you're not really speaking to me, you're speaking to him
I didn't say
indirectly.
every word.
Indirectly,
You're
right?
exaggerating the
So,
situation.
so I ask you here a simple question. If you don't know the answer, you could be humble enough. If I don't know, I'm not going to refer you to someone else. I'm going to tell you, personally, I don't know. Maybe you'll find someone else here who's more knowledgeable. He can answer you on the question. But I'm not going to bring him to speak to you, right?
I gave you a verse.
So,
okay.
if you bring me a sincere person on my judgment to help you, I'm happy. I'm more than happy. But certain people, which are called the DCCI team, the Deceiving Christian team, right? this team specifically, I'm not going to have any conversation with them. I'll tell you what. They are of
I
no
don't really want to go
importance.
into that. That's not what I'm here for. I don't
That's
want to
all right.
discuss that.
So you will
so
find
let's not-
you'll
let's not
answer
go
my
into
questions yourself.
DCCA is a wonderful team, isn't it?
Yes,
Go
it is.
ahead.
It is.
I think they bring up some very important challenges
Right.
which these guys can't
So-
face, and that's where they get
So
things
Jesus
messed up.
forgives all of mankind. Okay. Let me just pick up the verse.
Go ahead.
I just don't know it off by heart. So.
Okay. That's a fair position to have.
That's not to say it doesn't exist, and there isn't an answer to your question.
Did I say that? I say it's a fair...
I'm just making my statement. I'm not
I said-
disqualifying yours. I'm making my statement to qualify mine.
I know.
To qualify mine.
I
Okay.
understand.
So you don't need
I
to say
said-
that.
What did I say? I say it's a fair position. Is that wrong?
As if I'm trying to disqualify.
Is it
your-
not a fair position? Is it an unfair position?
It's just one you don't need to mention. That's all.
I'm just saying it's a fair position. I don't know why you're getting offensive here.
No, I'm just stating it. So there's no need
Go
for you
ahead.
to
No problem.
throw that back at me like that. That's
So you don't know. Not that it doesn't exist, but you don't know.
So in regards to Jesus being God,
So can I go now? What's your name?
One second.
so in regards
I'm
to
gonna go without shaking your hand. If he starts giving the answer, I'm gonna go.
Oh, so you're not really looking for the answer then?
he doesn't care
Okay,
about
let
the
him speak.
answers.
I'll let him give
So
one
you-
answer.
Doesn't care about
I'll let
the
him give
answers.
one answer. But as I said, I'm here to speak to you. Right? Let him
Right,
speak.
right.
Let him give his
He
answer.
doesn't care
Let
about
him-
the
Let him give his answer.
His
Sure. Let him give his answer. I
His
said, look,
mission.
now he's ad hominem me when I said let him give the answer, right? So if he continues to do that, I'm gonna leave. No point in doing
Right.
that.
I think you're extremely rude. I really think you do not even know how to engage in a simple
Thank you very much.
conversation.
Thank you very
Now, the
I
questions,
accept your ad hominem. Go ahead.
the questions you raised are pretty primitive. The first question,
No, I didn't ask you to answer my question. You're gonna talk to him and give him the evidence. that
you are
Jesus-
not the dictator here.
Sure.
If you think you're a
Thank you very much.
dictator
You want to shake
in
my
some
hand
way-
or should I go? I have a
You-
point.
go on.
Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.